time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, December 18th. Brent Wallace alongside Jason York. Welcome to Coming In Hot. Proudly presented to you by Bet365. Download the app today, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Yorkie, this team is on a roll. And you stayed up late. You're going to be great today.
Oh, we got the toothpicks in this morning, Wally, holding the eyelids open. What did you get? 4 hours sleep last night?
Something like that. If the show goes off the rails, it's because of my lack of sleep.
Come on, this show never goes off the rails. What are you talking?
We have a dog in the show.
Dogs. We had Ruby Bonk on the show yesterday too. My God, that picture. I think Serge set the picture out that we tweeted with Bonky and Ruby together. When Bonky's got the mullet, I love that. I sent it out in my group chat. I got a group chat with my buddies. All the guys were howling, just giving it to Bonky.
I won't waste it. They're both. We have Bukauskas and Graeme Nichols.
Yes,
we want to do like a reporter roundtable, so we'll get to them quickly.
Yes,
I'm sure they don't want to listen to any more of this, but Kyle does have. I think it's the same breed of dog that you have. I'm not sure. We'll ask him. He can be
Doodle.
part of the club with you and Bonky.
Well, we're always looking. The Doodle Club is always expanding.
You have a lot of clubs. Yeah,
come on.
Is this what retired life is like?
Yeah, it is actually. Pickleball club, Doodle Club, Good Guys Club.
Bonky's joining the pickleball club now.
Yep.
All right.
Come on. Graham's exhausted. He's coming off a shift. I don't think talk about sleep. I don't think he's slept all night.
No, we'll get to and find out what his deal is. For those who don't know, Graham's also a firefighter in the city. Not only does he write good material for the hockey news, but he's out there saving and protecting our lives. All right. This show proudly presented to you by Charm Diamond Centers. Guys, it is a week away from Christmas. So get into the store now. Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian owned and operated since 1972, more than 85 locations across the country through Charm and their sister brands. Get custom ring building delivered in less than 4 weeks with the Charm Masterpiece Program and unbeatable pricing policy. Check out a large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds, mine diamonds, and don't pay until 2025 with their instant in-store financing on approved credit. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com. Chosen forever, Charm Diamond Centers.
You sound better in the morning, Wally. Good job. And also, hey, back-to-back sponsor reads. How about BEI, helping to shape the Ottawa Valley with equipment rentals, aggregate and topsoil sales, as well as custom crushing and screening, hot mix paving. They do it all. So when planning your next project, please consider BEI for all your aggregate supply needs. And you can get them at bonishirexcavating.com online or at 613-432-1120.
And now, without further ado, let's bring in two of the smartest people in hockey. Bukauskas, who has a little podcast you may have heard of called 32 Thoughts. And, of course, Graeme Nichols, firefighter extraordinaire.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Barry
wanted to say hi to Uncle Wally.
I miss Barry.
Hey, Barry. I want to say hi to Uncle Wally.
Hey, nice to see Barry.
Graham, are you a dog guy too?
Yeah, I got a miniature schnauzer.
Oh, a miniature schnauzer. So does your dog go nuts when the mailman shows up, or do you have mail?
Doorbell, doorbell, everything. Yeah, goes crazy.
What is it with schnauzers? Because my wife had two of them growing up, and they're the best dogs, but they just
yeah, they're great until you're walking on the street and another dog goes by or what have you. It's I don't know if it's like a territorial thing, but they're yappy as hell. So.
Where'd Barry go, Kyle? Is he gone?
I had to put him down. Yeah, well, not put him down. He wanted to be on the ground. He's better than sitting on my bony lap.
This is a serious show, guys. You can't just have dogs.
He is. Like,
Kyle
come down here to record the podcast I do with Elliot. He always comes down, just lays by the chair, and likes to listen along for some strange reason. So he's down here again this morning.
Kyle, you never cease to amaze me in your works. Jeez, my goodness.
Yeah, actually, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that, Jason. Sorry, Brent. I have no intentions of hijacking the show, but as for those that aren't aware, I grew up on the West Coast. I'm a BC guy, and I got a letter in the mail recently.
Come on,
expedited expedited parcel. None of that Canada Post nonsense. And I just thought I would read it here on the pod.
Interesting, Wally.
What is happening?
So it reads, Dear Kyle, I am pleased to inform you that you have been granted conditional acceptance into the British Columbia chapter of the Good Guys Club.
What? Congratulations.
This recognition comes with a lifetime of responsibility and should not be understated. We look forward to you continuing to show the necessary traits of a full-time card-carrying member. Yours truly, President of the Good Guys Club BC chapter, Wade Redden.
Wow. This is unbelievable. It's a Christmas miracle, Kyle.
This
The
is
ultimate
ridiculous.
gift you can receive.
Oh,
Incredible.
You know what? I got Graeme. We got our eyes on you in Ottawa too. By the way, just so you know, there's always people watching. Kyle,
Oh, that's
always...
exciting.
Given the other
anyway,
job that
that's the end
Graeme
of our
does,
show for today.
he is always he is an automatic entrant. Given his side gig when he's not providing great content for Sens fans, I think that gets him in automatically.
So this is great news, Kyle. Congratulations. I had no idea because British Columbia has their own chapter. You know, this is going to get discussed in the new year.
Right.
Big
You only
news.
come
But you know
together
what?
once for the AGM.
Yeah, and we'll. You know what? There's other. This is the thing. It's tough if you can't just put in an app and apply. It's kind of like the mask, kind of like Augusta. It's for like invite only. You get these things, and they just happen organically. It's great, isn't it, Wally? It's so good, eh?
Graeme and I will be starting our own podcast in the new year. Well, congrats, Kyle. I don't know if you get a jacket or anything, but congrats. Good luck.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you.
Wait,
very much.
can you be expelled from the Good Guy Club?
Well, we don't. Like, we do our homework before you bring guys in. I don't think there's ever been an expulsion law. That's why it's so tough to get in. Like, it's just these just don't get handed out like no bad apples, Wally. Come on.
Speaking of Good Guy Club, let's put Linus Ullmark in the Good Guy Club, gentlemen. We've all seen the stats, but they are a little ridiculous at the moment. 6 straight wins. Now 7-0-1 in his last 8 games. He could have 6 shutouts. All 6 of these wins in a row, he has gone into the third period with a shutout. So the numbers are ridiculous. He now is top 8 in both save percentage and goals against average in the league. I'm not sure what there is to say about him anymore, but I will leave it up to you 3 gentlemen to tell me your thoughts on Linus Ullmark, the guy that we all said the Senators needed to have in order to have success. Kyle, since you're the reigning BC chapter Good Guy Club guy.
Good guy, club guy. That's great. You know what? I think back to like, it was funny that some were pointing out the fact that this run all started like shortly after the first significant snowfall here in Ottawa of the year, and of course he had the line about him and his kids loving the snow. But that was also right around the time that Ullmark was named to Team Sweden for the 4 Nations, and you know, I don't think there was really much of a debate, like, whether or not he was going to make the team. It seemed like he was all but a lock to make that group. But you have to think, like, there's an extra little strut, extra swagger about you when you get named to something like that. Like, that matters. And you can tell, especially as we saw here for players that didn't quite make the cut for either of those teams. So I think about that. And also, just time. Like, Jason, I heard you talking about it on a episode you guys had here earlier in the week, because I had a conversation with Linus a couple of months ago, and he said, like, even when he first got to Boston, and as sound of a defensive team as they were at that time, he said it still just takes time for you to understand your defensemen, to build that trust between one another, and knowing that when there's a breakdown defensively, he's going to have their back. When he gives up, the occasional bad goal, the team in front of them is going to have their back. And, it didn't come together right away here in Ottawa through October and November. But now you're starting to see things really gel here. So, that's been a positive, and of course the fact that they're stringing wins together. I thought last night, like, gentlemen, we've all watched this, like, for years, the way things were going, you have a good weekend, back-to-back set at home. Now you go out west. The boys are enjoying field level there, the Sunday night game, the Seahawks Packers. Like, you could have bet your life savings on that being a loss last night, and it would have been a sure thing. Yep. But, they took him a little bit to find their legs. Ullmark did what he needed to do. And it's not like it was constant 2-on-1 after 2-on-1, but made the saves he needed to. And then, it was almost a role reversal there where, a goal that Joey Decord surely would have liked to have back. Suddenly, the Senators were skiing downhill for 8 to 10 minutes. And that proved to be the difference. They didn't let Seattle back in last night. It wasn't a perfect game, but it was a good showing.
Graeme, were you at the Pittsburgh game? Were you at the building?
No, I was not.
I was at that game, and I made the comment, like, the energy in the building just feels different now with Ullmark in the net. Like, it's incredible how the whole, not just with the players, it's the fans and everybody, but from your vantage point, like, what are you seeing with Ullmark and why things changed and why things are going so well for him now?
I don't know if it's like a consequence of his injury that he sustained in the second game of the season, but I felt earlier in the season he was playing a little deeper in his net, and he was getting beat up high a lot. It seems now to me, I'm not like a goaltending expert or anything, but it seems like he's out. He's more aggressive. He's more square to the shooter, and he's just giving guys like less room to shoot at. And it seems the puck just seems to be hitting him. And for the better part of the first quarter of the season, I think you could say, God, if this team could just get some saves, like they'd be in a good spot. Like they were playing well. The structure was a lot better than we've seen in previous years. And it's just a matter of like, okay, let's get the goaltending going. As soon as we start getting like, the 900 save percentage in games, they'll be fine. And they've been getting that for the past month through December, and it's been great.
You put out a tweet when Ottawa was going through their bad times. I remember you put it out, and it was an analytical stat on expected goals against, I believe. And you said, this isn't going to continue because the numbers are showing that they're playing pretty good. They just need, like you said, they just needed some key saves at key times.
But nobody wants to hear that, right? Like nobody wants to hear, we just need to be a little bit luckier. Like, because luck is something you can't control. Like as a player, you don't want to hear that. It's all about working harder, doing the little things, paying attention to details and stuff. And it's just like, well, eventually, like Linus Ullmark has been, I think his career save percentage is like 915 throughout his career. Like he should reasonably be expected to be better, and his game's improved, and all of a sudden we're starting to see the dividends of that. And it's been good, and you can see the confidence, like you can see the swagger and the confidence and the moxie that the guys are getting on the ice, playing in front of them, and it's just organic, and they're building off it. It's fun to watch.
Well, even you go to practice every day, Kyle, you're there too. Like you can just tell too, guys know, like I know this from playing. You just have a different feeling. Well, we talked about this last week. The swagger Josh Norris was talking about. He's like, hey, we know we got this guy now. And like last night, we all watched the game. Like they got a chance to kind of, I hate to say it, they say this old term, you dip your toe in the water to see what it's going to be like before the game starts. And all of a sudden you're getting outshot 15-5 or whatever it was early on in that game, 10-3. But hey, that game easily could have went other way, right, Wally? It could have been totally different.
So I'm watching it. I thought they actually controlled a bit of the play just by cycling, but every time they seemed to have a shot, it was blocked by the point. But then I looked up and the shots were 14-3. And I'm like, what happened? And I'm like, oh no, like Joey Decord looks pretty good. They'll settle in, and then they're going to get a weak goal on Ullmark, and then they're going to roll to a victory. I'm like, they got that Shane Pinto goal, which I think we all admit.
That was stinky.
Yeah. Like for a guy like Decord, you don't expect that one to go in. And that just changed the complexion of that game completely. Ottawa just started to skate then.
Right. And how many times have Ottawa been on that side of it where they come out, they're playing well, they're controlling play, and then bad goal, and you can tell everyone's like, oh, here we go again. But it was the other way this time. Like they found their legs after that goal, right? And then Noah Gregor, heck of a play to make it 2-0. Like they controlled the rest of that second, and then did what they had to do in the third to not give Seattle any conceivable chance to getting back into it. Ullmark part of that too.
He made a toe save. I feel like it was in the second period through traffic, and I was like, okay, this might be okay, because I just felt he could see everything last night. I don't know that we give the defense enough credit on what they've been actually able to do of late. I think they've played extremely well, and in particular, we talk about Thomas Chabot and Nick Jensen. By the way, none of their defense last night had a point, which I found a little bit
Ottawa?
surprising. Yeah.
It's just it's one of those games where you're on the road. I think Kyle kind of summed it up perfectly. You go to a football game, you're on the road, it's your first game. It's almost expected. Like you don't think this. Seattle always starts off really quick. They got a fast team. And this is what Linus Ullmark was brought in to do. This is why you got him. This is why you're paying him. and very few teams have a goalie like that. Like that's why teams make the playoffs, because they have guys like this. Like that's why the Rangers have been so good for so long, because Shesterkin can literally win you games. And that's what we saw last night from Ullmark. If Ullmark's not playing, they don't win that game.
We don't discuss the Rangers and winning anymore. That's a given. That is a tire fire. Which New York team is worse at the moment? The Rangers or the Sabres? I guess it's the Sabres. What a nightmare that team is. It's the
Rangers. It's the Rangers, because they're supposed to be in first place. Everybody's expecting the Sabres not to be this bad, but
right, 11 in a row there. Buffalo. I watched a bit of that Montreal game last night.
Kyle, the Rangers owner isn't coming in like Buffalo's. Hey, it's okay, guys. Have a good Christmas. Everything's going to be fine.
A few of us were joking. It became clear that Mr. Pegula did not build his empire on motivational speaking for the way they came out against Montreal last night. Holy smokes.
Oh, my God.
Back to this game. Sorry, I hijacked that part of the show.
That's all right. Way to go.
So last year, after 31 games, the Ottawa Senators 5 games below 500. This year, they're 16, 13, and 2. Is this all? What do we attribute this to? And it's easy to point to Linus Ullmark, but I think there's a lot more to it. Also, their power play or penalty kill of late has been very good, right? They haven't. They're 11 for 11 in the last 4 games. Remember, we were all over how bad that penalty kill was. They seem to have turned that around. There just seems to be a lot of things going on. Graeme, I know you delve into the analytics a lot of this, and you could see it. You were always, and we brought it up, you were always positive of how this team was never as bad as the record showed. Is there something that stands out for you, or do we just go, yeah, it's Linus Ullmark and let's move on?
I just think it's like the rate of expected goals allowed. Like they're cutting down the chances that the opposition get. And when the guys in goal are making the saves, it makes it they're in games, they're competitive. I wish they would finish more. I think the offense still has a ways to go. They're generating more chances than the opposition consistently. It's just they're getting saves. That's the biggest part of it. But I think like going back to like the DJ Smith era versus this era, I think Travis Green's got them playing good defense. And I think Jacques Martin's laid some of those foundational blocks last season when he came in as the interim guy. And that's continued. It's been a seamless transition. I think you have to give the coaching staff this year a lot of credit for that. Like it's easy to go from Jacques and preach defense and everything else, but they've implemented a system that seems to be working well. And as you pointed out, the special teams has been really good of late. So when you get goaltending, you get special teams play. Like that's how you win in the postseason, and it's working for them right now in the regular season.
Yorkie, it's like when you were playing under Jacques. The Sens are 14-2 when scoring first. They've scored first in the last 7 games.
Yeah.
And by the way, they're tied for first in wins and scoring first at 14. Yeah. They're also first in the last 11 games, even strength goals allowed. They're not giving up very much, even strength wise.
Graeme hit on the special teams are really important, but the one thing that the Senators were doing when they're losing games, especially throughout the years, it's key moments at key times. So we're talking about end of periods, start of periods, start of games, especially one of the most important things. So we can talk about the saves and all that. Like when this team was really bad, they were giving up first shots. What they set a record last year, 23 times, 22 times. They gave up the first goal of the game on the first or second shot. So goaltending for sure, but also it's team. How do I describe this? It's your team mental toughness. You're always taught as players at the end of periods not to give up goals. So you look at a game last night, like late in periods, they gave up they don't give up a lot at those key times anymore. So your goalie doesn't always have to make that spectacular save. But I just think this team, Travis Green has done a real nice job of making sure this team stays in the moment. Because you get up in a game, you can get ahead of yourself. You get down in your game, you can start pressing. And when you start pressing, you open things up and you allow some opportunities. So I just found Travis is really, and we've heard it. We've had him on the show. Kyle, you've talked to him. Graeme, you're at all the games. He just has, like, it's boring. Every time you interview one of these guys, like, yep, we're just staying in the moment. We're thinking about this. But as a professional, it's so boring. But as a professional athlete, that's what you have to do. Just stay in the friggin' moment. And if you do that and learn to do that, it takes time. So I'll give Steve Staios a little bit of a credit. Bringing in these veteran guys, they help the room stay in the moment. So you got a guy like Nick Jensen in the room. He's just sitting there going about his business. Nothing's really bothering him. Like, he gives the puck away sometimes, but he makes way more better plays than bad plays, so you don't really notice it. And then Jensen, you see the Jensen effect on Shabbat. You see what happens. Even though David Perron has been hurt, he's still around the team. He's still talking to the guys. He's still going out for dinner. He's still in the ear of a young guy like a Noah Gregor, or when a Stopchuk gets called up, he's got guys to talk to. So it's not just Claude Giroux that's trying to set the temperature. You got all these older guys now that are involved. And Michael Amadio, how much shit did this guy take the last month? Watch him play. Like, that's just a really smart player they added to the mix, fellas. Like, Matthew Joseph was a great play, like a decent player, fast. You noticed him, but Amadio just does things throughout the game. Like, they're just little tickets he keeps punching that helps you go along and just stay in the moment. So it's a lot of things, but to me, it's a combination, everything: the players, the moves, the coach, and hey, that's why they are where they are right now. And throw in the goaltender, which we've been talking about as well.
Can we discuss the playoffs, or do we just put that away?
Can I say, though, I love now when these stats are coming up about, the last time that Ottawa was in a playoff spot in December, the last time this, the last time that was 2016, 17. Yep. And it's always at the end of it, it's like, I don't know if you know what happened that season. And Sens fans are like, yes, like, yeah, we know, we were there. They were one goal away from the cup final. Yeah.
Sincerely, Matt Cook. Speaking of which, the Sens are now 5 shutouts in the league. They lead the league in shutouts. The last 2 seasons combined, they've had 5, and then this is the most they've had since 2016-17, when they had 10. Like, right, again, all those numbers continue to point back. They just play a much better defensive game. And you brought up Nick Jensen, and Yorkie, we've talked about this in the show, but I'll get Graeme and Kyle's thoughts on Nick Jensen. Is you said this is the guy they needed to have, and he got off to a slow start. It seemed like everybody else in the team did too, maybe except Tim Stützle. Graeme, what do you see from Nick Jensen that makes you realize how good he might be?
I think it's just even the one thing that's really surprised me about Nick Jensen is just his willingness to jump up in the play. And keep plays alive in the offensive zone, and he pushes the tempo a little bit more than I thought he would. Like, I thought being paired with Tom Chabot, he would defer to his partner, let the partner do all the heavy work from the own end out. But like, he's shown me a lot of proficiency in his ability to move the puck and make smart decisions with it. He's not just giving it away. He's not your prototypical defensive defenseman. I find him very cerebral. Like, he moves the puck, puts it in safe spots, and the guys have clean exits off of it, and it makes the transition game a lot easier.
And I just,
by the way, Kyle, what time did you get up to do your hair?
Well, it was more so just get a complete breakfast in. That was the real goal.
Then, Kyle loves a full breakfast. Latte too, Kyle? Did you make yourself a latte?
No, not yet. That'll come later. I like to, wake up naturally. I don't want to rely on the caffeine to get me going. And then once I'm after this, I will be putting something together.
Are you still using that wonderful French press of yours for your coffee?
I've got the French press when every now and then. But you know what so Dana, my wife, got me this coffee advent calendar, Jason, this year. So this box came. So it's like 25 separate little baggies of like 20 grams of coffee beans from 25 different specialty roasters across Canada. And it comes with a booklet with a little write-up from each of the roasters about their favorite way to brew their coffee and all the different tasting notes and where the beans are sourced from. It has just been a wonderful ride here this month. And then the Good Guy Club stuff on top of it. This is the best.
Enough.
Kyle, you gotta live life. You just gotta live life. You gotta live it. You got good coffee. Good coffee is part of good life.
Exactly. Seinfeld's big on that too, right? It's like one of the best parts of life is a good cup of coffee. Nick Jensen, sorry.
No, hang on. I got one question about the advent calendar. Have you had any coffee? You're like, oh no, that's not good.
No, actually, it's all been it's been very, very nice for the most part. Like, there's the flavors where I'm going, I don't know if I would go out and buy that myself in the store, but it's just been fun to try because it's basically 1 cup each thing, right? So it's not a big commitment to each different one. The first one I was like, all right, but that could have just been, human error when it comes to the brewing method. So live and learn.
Well, I gotta get you for Christmas a salted caramel Christmas countdown calendar for every day before Christmas. You have a salty caramel.
So Lisa used to always get me advent calendar of chocolate, Lind or whatever, and I was like, just stop. They're just too small. They're just a waste of time. So there's no need.
But the big lint calendars are great. I will say, my dad still mails both my brother and I big lint advent calendars every year.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm now in my 30s, but it's like such a great thing.
Fair enough. Yeah, Lisa likes hers when she gets one. So anyway,
Yeah.
I can appreciate it. Graeme, do you have an advent calendar?
No. Haven't since I was a kid.
I'm an adult.
Okay. Nick Jensen, Kyle.
Yeah. So it's been no, I think it's like Graeme outlined it very well. I just, the way he's able to also like front pucks too, like, there's he's not afraid of whatever comes with clearing the front of the net and having to try to suppress shots when you're put in those situations. And the fact that it's been basically a steady run here from the outset with Thomas Chabot, I think has been great for both players, just to get some traction going, that there hasn't been the same swapping like we've seen elsewhere, out of necessity, of course, as Zuba's missed a couple of different stints here due to injury. But yeah, it's been positive to watch and to see, Chabot with some good play. And I was having this conversation with somebody not too long ago about, kind of where things changed for Chabot, where it seemed like he was on this trajectory to be like, minimum 50-60 point guy every season. And certainly, do you look at, well, because of how much he was used for so many years, because they didn't have anybody else, like did that play an effect, over the years? But, a part of it too, like, when he was playing that style of looking like a guy that could score or 50, how much are you giving up on the other side of the puck in order to be put in those situations? So I think certainly there's been some growth in his own game and understanding how to play, and having a guy like Jensen there next to him, I think can only help, hammer those points and those details home. And, right now you've got yourself a pretty good second pair that you can rely upon, I think, in a lot of situations here for Travis Green. And we just haven't seen that too often here in Ottawa for the last little while, so it's got to be refreshing.
Where's Nikita Zaitsev right now? Is he still playing? Is he
Not
still
the
Nikita
NFL.
Zaitsev?
Is he still in? Well, to
Zaitsev.
Kyle's to Kyle's point, like some of the, it just goes like I talked about this other day. We talked so much about lines. Well, this guy needs somebody to play with, and you bring in a player, and forwards need this. I actually think it's more important for defensemen to have partners that have chemistry, because you're the guys when things screw up that it's on you. Like if you don't have a good D-to-D exchange, or your partner is not there in the right place for reverse, getting out of your own zone is the most important facet besides getting a key save in the game. If you can't get out of your own zone, you're screwed. And Graeme said it earlier, how many defensemen just get it and flip it out to the middle of the ice? Well, that's a turnover, or go off the glass and out. Sure, it's a safe play, but teams are so good now, they're just coming right back at you. So now you have Chabot and Jensen. If you're a forechecker, you don't know which D to take away when you come in on the angle. Because before they just go angle Chabot. Yeah, he's going to go D to D to whoever he's playing with, and then we're getting it back. so now it's not so easy, because you got two guys that are helping get the breakouts.
I do have a question on I'll say more of a negative side. Jake Sanderson. What do we think of his game? 2 points in the last 10 games. He's only he's -1 during that stretch. The team is winning, I'll keep in mind. Are we okay with the way he's been playing?
This kind of goes back to Yorkie's point about Chabot having a stable partner, right? Because you look at the years that Tom Chabot endured playing with guys like Nikita Zaitsev. It's kind of been a struggle for Chabot since he left Dylan DeMello, right? And now he has a competent partner who plays his natural side, and he's taken off. He's having one of his best years in years. And I think with Jake Sanderson, it's like playing with Travis Hamonic, it's not ideal, and it's not Travis Hamonic's fault that he's being thrown into that position. It's just out of necessity. They obviously don't have the comfort to put Jacob Bernard-Docker in that kind of position as a second year guy. And
would you?
I think there comes a point in time when you could have that conversation. I think he's been perfectly fine in those limited minutes, but I think, like to Travis Green's point, this has been brought up numerous times in those media availabilities. He does play sheltered minutes, right? Like he's not necessarily playing against the other team's top lines, but to Jacob Bernard's credit and to Tyler Kleven's credit, they're playing very well in those sheltered minutes. So eventually, is there a time Is there a time when you could say, okay, you know what? We're going to give you a little bit more. We're going to give you a little bit more. And it could get to that point of 5-on-5. I think like Hamonic will probably still find his way out on the penalty kill and what have you. But I think there could be a time where you could give Jacob Bernard-Docker a little bit more leash and see what he can do in a top four pairing, because I don't know what the alternative is, because Travis Hamonic is protected with his contract unless you acquire another right defenseman who can play those minutes or until Artem Zub comes back. I think you're kind of just, this is what you're going to get, and you're hoping that Jake Sanderson can carry Hamonic through that process.
And I think this about Jake Sanderson, you look at how he takes care of himself, the work that he puts in, his dedication to the game for a long time. Like, I'm sure you've all heard stories about this guy, like how dialed in he is on a number of fronts. So for me, like, I'm banking on that long term, that's going to bear the fruits of like a heck of a defenseman. And maybe we look back at this season 5 years down the road and say that was an off year for him. But over the bulk of his time here, I think he's going to continue to be just an outstanding defender, an outstanding all-around player for Ottawa, despite that the first, getting close to the first half of the year, maybe hasn't gone how he expected or how many expected.
I think the general public puts so much onus on points. Like, points, you got to get points. You got to get points.
He's on the first power play unit.
Yeah, but he doesn't play him. Like, you look at a Bouchard.
So then do you move him with, does Shabbat go to the first power play unit?
So I'll just tell you something about defensemen that get lots of points. So Evan Bouchard, he plays about 1:40, 1:50. Like, the real top defensemen in the league that run power plays, they basically play the whole 2 minutes. So in Ottawa, you have a unique situation. You have 2D that probably split the power play time. And Jake Sanderson, like, when you watch the game, he's a very unselfish player. A lot of guys that get their cookies, they see the puck going up the ice. You know what? I should change. I'm going to stay on because I'm going to try and get this extra assist. Or I'm going to join that. He'll change, because I know this about Jake Sanderson. For him, he takes more pride in being a defensive defenseman and taking a hard matchup against, like when they played like a Sidney Crosby, Kyle. Like, that's what this guy loves. So I think the problem is he skates so well. He maneuvers the blue line so well when he comes in with his footwork. So you're like, man, this guy should be on our first power play. So I wouldn't mind it, but they really have two power plays. You have that one group of forwards, you look at their first look with Norris, with Batherson, with Tkachuk. And then you got the second unit with Giroux. So the problem is you got Giroux on that second unit. So that second unit's always going to get time because you have Claude Giroux there and Pinto who have that nice chemistry. So I just think I don't think Sanderson's played that poorly, to tell you the truth, fellas. I think he's been good. The problem was last year he was out of this world. Right. So the expectation, like, if you compare him to most D, and just watch his shifts. Hey, Graeme, watch how many times he goes back for a puck when normally a normal defenseman would rim it. He'll do an escape move and skate it out of trouble. Not many guys can do that, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that. And his defending, his sticks on puck, he just does so many little things. And not to mention, listen, I think Travis Hamonic's played some of his best hockey as an Ottawa Senator, but he is what he is. Like, he's not here to be there. So, and they're winning. So I think people have to lay off the Jake Sanders is not playing that well. Look at the numbers, how well he played with Zub. All of a sudden, why did that drop off a planet? Well, it is what it is. You're just playing with a guy that probably should be in your third pairing. This will take care of itself. In the meantime, he's still playing pretty good.
And I think you're right. I think that's sorry, Kyle. I think that's kind of like the optimistic perspective. Like, you can look at like a guy like Ullmark and say, oh, wow, like, he's playing out of his mind right now. We're going to ride that for a hot streak. But then you look at other areas on the roster where it's like, you know what? We could get a lot more out of this guy. Like, Shane Pinto was kind of in that conversation for a long time. I think Jake Sanderson is 100% in that conversation. Like, if you get Artem Zub back and that pairing takes off and starts to replicate what they did last season, there's so much room for growth from a team perspective that'll take some of the heat off Ullmark when his play starts to normalize and come back to his career norms.
I just was going to add quickly on Sanderson, Yorkie. Like, so for him this year, I believe more than any of his previous seasons here in the NHL, he's dealing with teams game planning specifically for him compared to the past. Like, you mentioned the escape routes that he would run. I think, first couple of years, he had a little more room to do that. Now teams know it's coming. So there's like a guy there right away, sometimes two guys. I think that's where he's noticing. I talked to him a little bit about it. He's going like, yeah, like I used to have a little bit more time getting up ice. That's gone now. So it's all part of the adjustment. That's life in the NHL. You've got to figure it out. But I'm willing to bet that he will.
He just needs to simplify, Kyle. Like the problem is he got away with it. And it's like defenseman, it's like Connor Bedard's having a tougher time because people know as a defenseman, he's never going to go wide on you. He's always going to pull up. He's always going to try and shoot it. So he's lost. So with Sanderson, it's like, hey, maybe sometimes you are going to have to rim it. Maybe sometimes it is going to have to be a high flipper. It can't, because forwards are so good. Like you don't know until you go watch a game ice level. Well, Kyle, you're down at ice level. How quick stuff happens. It's crazy. Like, so for Sanderson, the stuff he was doing doesn't happen in his second year in the league. So to me, he's actually playing like he should right now. Make a mistake now and then, because that's what normal defensemen do.
Guys, it's clear the Sens should have kept Jacob Chychrun and traded Jake Sanderson at this point.
Oh my gosh. There's the Grinch we know and love.
Yes.
I was half expecting this episode to be all about the fact that Ottawa didn't score with the empty net for over 4 minutes in the third. I thought you were going to hammer them about that.
Drake Batherson, eh?
Yes, a heck of a save by Montour. The show title would be Empty Promises.
Sleepless in Seattle. You won't be able to sleep with it.
That's right. How can they live with themselves?
You like Wally's catchy show titles, eh, Kyle? You can appreciate that.
I love it. They get the notification pop up on the phone. The new episode's been dropped. All aboard. All right. Might as well hop on the train then. Let's go. Oh, look at that.
That's awesome.
That is great. You and Jim.
This show is a mess.
Your hair's a mess. Your hair is a mess in that picture. What's going on there? A little too much gel.
I don't know what this is. Anyway, I don't know what's happening. So anyway, Kyle, there's a couple questions I need to get through. And by the way, Graeme, we forgot to ask you off the top. Have you slept?
Yeah, I was good. I caught the first 2 periods last night, and then I just shut it down. And then I got lucky and woke up this morning excited to do the show. So yeah, I'm good. I'm 100% good.
Because when you do a shift, all right, you're just coming off shift, as you call it. You don't sleep for 12 days.
Well, I mean, like some stations are different. Like downtown, like Laurier Street, like they're running like 30, 35 calls a day normally, and it's just they're up the entire day essentially. So I like every station's different. Like you get in the suburban pockets, it'll be a lot slower than 30, 35 calls. But that's one of the drawbacks, and it's part of it's what you sign up for, right? It's shift work. So
Kyle, do you still use maple syrup in your hair? And by the way, what were you doing that you thought that this is what I need today?
Well, but did you listen to the audio that went with it?
I forget stuff.
Oh, well, remember the scene in Wedding Crashers? That was the whole inspiration for the post.
Yes, I remember that. Wally doesn't watch movies.
So they're showing up at the Clergy wedding, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to be, and they're going back and forth with ideas. And Vince Vaughn suggests they could be from Vermont, and they run a maple syrup conglomerate.
Yes.
And Owen Wilson's like, we don't know anything about maple syrup. And Vince Vaughn's like, I happen to know everything there is to know about maple syrup. Love maple syrup on pancakes, love maple syrup on pizza. And then he goes, I even put a little bit maple syrup in my hair when I've had a rough week. What do you think keeps it up? Slick. And I was like, I want to do a video putting maple syrup in my hair with that audio running underneath. So that was the key element of the whole
Pure maple syrup. You gotta use pure maple syrup.
No
additives.
Get something local here. We've got so many good sugar shacks at our doorstep.
I wish I had it. So there is a NHL off-ice official who makes his own maple syrup.
Really?
He gave it to Lisa on the way out the other night. Yeah.
That's nice.
There you go.
Do you know who else makes their own maple syrup? Old Sean Donovan.
Really?
I believe that.
Donovan Akers. Donald got me a nice barrel of it last year for Christmas. It's go nice in your hair too, Kyle. Keep it nice and tucked up.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I was honestly shocked at how effective it was until you go to get a sweat in. Then it starts to crystallize, and you're like, this isn't as fun anymore.
Okay. Last question before we let you go, because I know you guys want to get on with your day and avoid this nonsense. Is do either one of you, or even Yorkie for that matter, have Christmas traditions that you have kept throughout the years?
Go ahead, Graeme.
We've got
now, you have a new kid, so
yeah. So we have
different for
we
you.
have a 3-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter. So like we had the COVID years too. So like we haven't really started any traditions. Now that they're old enough to appreciate Christmas and understand what it's all about, we'll probably start something. But like we haven't. I wouldn't say we have any like massive traditions. It's just we've made the mistake in the past of like my wife's parents split up. My mom remarried after my dad passed away in 2005, and we had split homes, and we would try and hit every home over the course of a day, like 4 houses in one day. And it was nice seeing everybody. It was a lot of work, and it was all right, but trying to make everybody happy. That was our tradition.
Fair enough. Kyle, what do you have anything now or previously?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. Like my mom, my dad, my brother, and I, like since my younger brother was born, like we've woken up Christmas Day under the same roof every year. And knock on wood that travel isn't too wonky this year, that will continue. So that one is very meaningful. And then all things being equal, Christmas vacation the night of the 23rd, a Christmas story, Christmas Eve. And something that's kind of come into the mix here now is my brother and I have gotten older, and we've gotten a little more mature and can appreciate it. We'll have It's a Wonderful Life playing on Christmas Day, kind of in the afternoon. There's some cooking going on, snacking in the living room, and that's a nice just to have in the background there. It is a classic.
Where's Elf?
That's usually earlier in December. You knock that out. Like that one, like Home Alone,
Does it
2.
get you started?
Warms you up.
Yes,
Warms
exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Oh my
The
god, Kyle, I
Grinch.
love it. Just a house filled with tradition. That's awesome.
Yorkie,
Yeah,
do you do Elf on the
very
Shelf?
fortunate.
So we had, when my kids were young, we had an elf on the shelf, but it was kind of creepy looking, and my kids, my kids were kind of afraid of it because it would look down from the shelves at them like, that thing's gonna get me. So we had to get rid of the elf of the shelf because the kids are getting freaked out. So we used to get, when the kids were young, everybody had matching pajamas. So everybody went to bed in their matching pajamas. They would get up. But the new tradition, Wally, and we talked about this the other day, and I'm going to show you, this is step one. These were constructed last night by my lovely wife, Laurel. She gets them ready because we will be decorating them on the night of the 23rd. So here is the gingerbread house. They were
the stupidest holiday tradition ever. Yeah.
Yes. So we make the gingerbread. So it smells great, by the way. It's real gingerbread. So we get the gingerbread houses, and then we have all the candy on the table. So it's and our kids are older now. They're in their 20s. My in-laws, Laurel's parents, come down, Mike and Marge, and we all have a gingerbread contest making a gingerbread contest. Doesn't sound right. Anyway, we have a contest making gingerbread houses, and then we display them after. And this is the preliminary house. I'll have the one once it's made. I'll have the winning house, and we will show it after Christmas. So that's the big tradition around us, Wally. What about you?
Cheers to your gingerbread.
Oh, Kyle, look, that goes great with the coffee, doesn't it, Kyle?
Yeah. Okay. All right, John. Last question before we let you go.
Would you have any traditions? Like, is it just bah humbug over there? Like, what goes on over there?
Christmas night, all the decorations are down, put away.
That's right.
Wally, Kyle,
gifts are open. All right, trees coming.
Graeme, listen to this. Wally paid his daughter $50 to wrap his wife's presents.
I can't believe we've got this
That's
far
awesome.
into the show without talking about it. Brent, I don't live very far from you. If that's the going rate, I would have happily wrapped gifts. I love wrapping gifts. I'm not very quick at it, but I will do a good job. I'm big on like everything being like right edges, 90 degrees, straight across, the folds equal on both sides.
Did you do with the ribbon?
Of course.
Yes. I may
My
have
mother
overpaid.
and father taught me well.
There's no bows. There's nothing. She just wrapped it. Lisa does have her birthday coming though, so maybe I can. Yeah, I'll get in touch with you. By the way, we've always brought up steaks on the show occasionally. Kyle has cooked me steak at his house.
Yeah, and I'll give Wally credit. It was a long ways away from well done, and he still trucked through it. He didn't want to be a rude guest, and he wasn't.
Kyle's like, this is the way you're eating it. You're going to enjoy it.
Kyle's medium rare. Graham, there's no way you're a well done steak guy.
No, medium rare. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Never mind. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. I hope you have a great holiday. See you at the rink in the new year at some point.
Sounds good. Yorkie, Nikita Zaitsev, St. Petersburg, KHL.
There he's gone. See, he's.
I thought he retired.
No, that's the Russians go over there. You can make a lot of dough there at the end of your career. No, that's he's not that old, is he, Graham? What is Zaitsev?
33.
Yeah, he's still a young guy. Jeez, I played till I was 37. He's got lots of years left in him.
Okay,
look at you now.
27 games.
Oh yes, hey Kyle. Yeah.
Oh, last thing before we go, you guys had your dogs. Gertie is ready for the holidays. This morning, she got decked out.
Oh,
Nice.
well done.
There you go.
Gertie.
Looking
She's
happy.
so pissed.
Oh, man. Sweetheart.
Oh,
All right, gentlemen, take care. Have a great day. Thanks for
You too.
joining us this morning.
Thanks, fellas.
Thanks, fellas.
Take care, guys.
See you guys. All right,
That was good
two
stuff.
of the good ones.
Yeah, good.
Graham
guy.
is my seatmate in the press box. We sit next to each other and chat.
Shit, that I forgot about that. I didn't even get into that with Graham. What goes
That's
on
okay.
during the game? Graham's all business, though, eh? You and Graham would be a great tandem. It's straight down the business, no nonsense.
We'd have a show done in 20
and-
minutes.
Producer Jake, that's why I love our new producer. Jake does a great job. He's no nonsense too. So I imagine a podcast with you, Jake, and Graham. Oh my God, the belly laughing that would go on, not so much, but
Hey, listen, Jake and I are on the same page.
Jake's the best. I love
He
Jake.
puts his head down and gets right to where I love him. So
No nonsense, all structure, all business. Your type of guy.
Time now to get to everybody's favorite, Gabriel Pizza's Hot for the Holidays, brought to you by Gabriel Pizza. The Sens, Drake Batherson owes us all in this city a pizza because he had a chance to score 4 for the Sens. He would have had 40% off any 9-inch pizza the day after the Sens score 4 from the Gabriel Pizza app. Also, don't forget they have a great breakfast. Gabriel Pizza Perks is the loyalty and ordering app. So earn points with every purchase on the app and get access to exclusive deals with Gabriel Pizza Perks, the official pizza of the NHL's Ottawa Senators, and of course, the Coming In Hot podcast. So, Jake. Oh, yeah, let's do the winner. The winner from yesterday's Charm Diamond Center. Chosen forever. Charm Diamond. Oh, no. I thought it was the Charm.
He did the song and everything.
No, it is. It's a $250 Charm gift certificate and a $50 Gabriel gift card. We've completely messed this up. But our winner for day 10 is Gail Butler. So we'll reach out to you and get that taken care of. I still have to go pick it up, and I will drop it off once we get your address. Okay. Today, Jake. Today.
Ho, 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 ho. Well,
There we go. Day 11. As we have one more day left, and tomorrow is the Fanatics Batherson jersey. Today is 2 tickets to the Sens Lightning, April 3rd. It'll be a good game because that might be playoff positioning. $50 Gabriel gift card, as always, as the Gabriel Pizza presents to you the Hot for the Holidays. So just go on our social media, as in case you're the first time you're listening to the show. Enter Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, all of them or any of them. Tag, like, follow Gabriel Pizza. And we will enter you into the draw and give you the winner for Hot for the Holidays, day number 11, tomorrow in the show. And then our final draw will be, we'll give you the winners on the 23rd on Monday. Also, don't forget, there is 2 tickets up for grabs to Canada's World Junior Games. See Oliver Bonk and Team Canada play on the 26th against Finland. You just have to make donation to the food bank. Every $5 donation get you an entry. Send in your receipt, and we will put you into the draw. So, but I think we're close, if not over $5,000 already raised. So, fantastic job.
Did you see the Oliver Bonk interview between periods last night? It was great.
I didn't.
It was kind of ironic because we had Bonky on yesterday, Oliver gets on between periods. And then did you see the highlight when they asked him about his dad? It was Bonky scoring a beautiful goal. And you see who the first guy coming over to hug him in the pile is none other than yours truly. Just a wonderful, wonderful holiday moment, Wally.
Yeah, I hope he does really well. He's a really good kid. I've had a chance just to be around the rink with him a few times and talking to Bonky. So here's hoping that Canada will pull this off. And of course, for Dave Cameron, former Senator coach and all-around good guy, he's got to be a member of the good guy. He's probably the PEI chapter president.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Dave Cameron, best of luck to Dave and his staff. Good buddy of mine, Sylvain Favreau, used to coach the Nav and grads, coaches in the Q now. Great guy. He's one of the assistant coaches on the team as well. They actually were at the Pittsburgh game. They were in the building. But Sly is what a great coach. Coached my son at the Gold Cup one year. And this was back a long time ago. And my kid Jack came back and goes, Dad, this guy's a good coach. And sure enough, there he is years later, assistant coach at Team Canada. So no, it'll be it's going to be great. Like, I'm not a huge World Junior guy, but you can see when you have it here in the city of Ottawa, and it's got a different vibe to it. Like, people love it. They eat it up. It's going to be great for the city. Yeah.
I remember doing the 09 tournament. This show probably presented to you by Bet365, of course. Download the app today, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary. Bet365. Open an account. Bet on a huge range of markets. Use the code NATION. Must be 19 years of age or older. Please play responsibly. Of course, Bet365, proud presenting sponsor of Coming In Hot. Charlie is now on fire as she has picked again the right one. We continue to be on a roll. Thank you, most in large part to Linus Ullmark. And by the way, nailed the parlay yesterday. Claude Giroux point.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah,
Did you throw
the
it?
Sens win.
You did, eh? Yeah. And Charlie's on a heater. Hey, what's Charlie right now? Like 8-2, 9.
Charlie's 7-2, I think. So tomorrow on the show, we'll need Charlie to pick on the Calgary game.
Yeah, it'll be. I like how Ottawa matches up against Calgary. I'll know we'll get into it a little bit more tomorrow. But is Ullmark going to just play every game till Christmas? I know they have a back-to-back. They have a back-to-back to finish it off, which can be tough.
Yes. However, we have seen him play back-to-back games.
Yeah, and he did not too bad.
He hung in there, as I like to say. Yeah.
Do you know? Gotta give a little love to this player. We had a lot going on today's show. We had Graeme, we had Kyle, had some fun. Zach Ostapchuk, Wally.
I meant to bring him up. I apologize.
I think we got to give him some love. He played. The thing I like about him, I think he played around 9 minutes last night, give or take. But every time he's on the ice, you notice good habits, you notice position, and he finishes his hits early in the game when the Sens were kind of chasing a little bit. Every time he was on the ice, he finished. There's the ice time right there. Yeah, 8:50 +1. Got a nice assist on that Gregor goal. That was a beautiful shot, by the way, Gregor. He had himself a game. And there's another guy. Look at Gregor's minutes last night. Can you talk about being more efficient? A more efficient 9:23 of ice time. Had a breakaway, had a goal. Fingerprints were all over the game. And when was the last time you looked at Ottawa's, like this year, but compared to other years, they're bottom six. They're winning games, but their bottom six is factoring in some of these games. So it's really nice to see. But I just wanted to bring up Ostapchuk. Yeah. I sent this tweet out last night. I give our buddy AJ Jackieback some credit here. He talked about Ostapchuk and how much he notices his habits and everything. And I said, he reminds me of Adam Lowry, a young Adam Lowry, like big, strong, responsible, has some bite, some meanness in his game. And you can just tell. And we talked to David Bell about it. Remember what David Bell said last year? This was last year, not this year. He goes, this guy is going to be a really good third line player in the NHL for a long time. So I believe it. I look at what is he, an 03? I think he's a 2003. Like, I think this kid has a tremendous future. I really do.
It makes me wonder back then to Mark Kastelik. I feel like kind of the same big size, heavy player.
Yeah.
But Kastelik looks very good this year playing in Boston.
Yeah, it takes big guys
that player here.
How many times, and I just think with It was the wrong time. When I watch a stop check play, I don't see moments where you're gonna, oh man, he's in the wrong place, or he turned the puck
Right.
over at the wrong time. I don't even remember that time last year with Castellic when he came to the bench, and there was the one time you saw Alfie's face just turn like a tomato, and he was all over him.
And from that point on, you
yeah,
got the sense that he's not going to probably stay here.
I like the way I'll stop. I thought Castellic's boots when he was here, like his acceleration from a standstill needed some improvement. Obviously, this year he's worked on his skating, but I like the age as well. Like, look at the age of Ostapchuk and compare what he's doing to where Castellic, because they're getting around the same amount of minutes. Certain guys just can play with those types of minutes, and obviously Ostapchuk can. And he's going to make some mistakes. It's not going to be all gravy, but I like what I see from him. Just how he goes about playing the game, his decisions with the puck, and he finishes his hits every single time. Well, that's so important. Like, you need guys in your bottom six. I call it's like you're putting a deposit in the bank. Every time you're on the forecheck, you're on the defense, you put a deposit and you hit them, because those deposits pay off by the end of the game. And a lot of people are starting to talk about this guy, and for good reason. He's going to be a good player. Yeah.
Just quickly on Castellic, because I think he's 1 point away from tying his career high 11 points. He's got 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points. Mm-hmm. He's got 129 hits already this year, which is more than he had last year in 63 games. Yep. And his career high is 154. Like, and I know his ice time is up 4 minutes.
What's he playing?
He's playing 11:38.
Okay.
Right? Like, sometimes you just got to find your game, and it takes a different voice or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that he would remain here at 6'4", 226. He's just such a good size. Imagine him and Ostapchuk on the same line.
Boy. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think I don't. Here's the thing. It's really tough. Some guys just can't do it. They can't play 8 minutes a night. It's really hard. You just remember Donald was talking about him when we had him on the pod. Like, you're sitting on the bench, you're cold, you're not in the game. Playing 11 compared to 8 is massive. It's massive for a forward. It's just, once you get under 10 minutes, it's really tough mentally to stay in the game. And just, hey, listen, I'm happy for Castellic. He's having himself a nice year, and now you move on. You got Ostapchuk, but I think Ostapchuk's he's a better fighter too, Wally. He's a better fighter, and I like that. I like that little bit of intangible in my bottom six as well. A guy that's a sneaky good fighter.
So, Yorkie, if you are you've played on some bad teams in your history.
Oh yeah, yep.
If you are in the Buffalo Sabre locker room, and the owner and the GM, which I know words are sometimes hollow, come in and say, "We're not doing anything. We're going to fix this from the group inside." Is that a confidence builder? Or to me, it's like, no, clearly we need some help. Please let us wave the flag and set up a smoke signal. We need some help.
Yeah, I don't know. The only time I was in a room and when our owner came in and addressed the team was when I was in Nashville, and it was Craig Leopold. He owned the team, and we had just made the playoffs, and we were in Colorado, and he brought in cases of champagne. And he partied with us. He's like, "We're in the playoffs, boys." And it was awesome. But I've never been on a team where the owner comes down and addresses you for poor play. It was a little different. I was in Anaheim. The team was owned by Disney. So who would you send down? Eisner, I guess. Come on,
Mickey Mouse. Goofy comes in. You guys need to play better.
And when I was here in Ottawa, Rod Bryden was the owner, and the only time Mr. Bryden came down was he invited us to his Christmas party, which was awesome, at his place in the Glebe.
He's a good
man.
And
then I played in Boston. We were shit. Oh boy, we were bad then. The owner Peter Shirelli, the GM, it's usually the GM comes down and says something. And that's when you really take notice if you're a player. When your GM comes into the room and he addresses the team, I think it's just kind of weird when the owner comes in. It's like, all right, it's the owner. What's going on here? I would be more on the side of, something's going down here. The owner's coming in here. There's changes coming. Right. And he's just trying to get us to relax because maybe he thinks that'll help us win. but for sure something's going down. If the owner's coming down here, someone's moving. We're doing something big. That's my take from it.
Like, how do you tell fans and your team, we're not helping you get out of this? That's what I hear. Like, I don't hear no, we believe in all of you. It's a great group of players. Well, clearly it isn't, to be losing 10 in a row during the speech, and then they go out and get pumped by the Montreal Canadiens. Like at some point, but you have to go, no, you've got to do something here. Like, if it's not the coach, which I'm assuming they're not firing because they just brought him in, whether it's rough, GM, which I don't believe it. Like, you got to do something to help the group.
Yeah, you do, but what's the owner going to do? Like, he's going to tell the GM to make a trade. It's just, they're in a tough predicament there. I don't know what the problem in Buffalo is. If you can look at one consistent, I don't think their goaltending is good enough. And when you're a bad team and you're not getting good goaltending, it just makes things that much worse. Like, we all know here in Ottawa, like, just look last night. Look no further than last night. That's the difference. Ottawa wins that game because Seattle, and you see it nightly in the NHL, is clearly the team ready to play at the beginning of the game. They're playing at home. They're all over Ottawa, and Ullmark makes about 3 saves that you could say, well, that could have went in, but it didn't. He stopped them. And then you're Joey Decore down there, and you're like, shit, not thinking this, but this is, we'll just say that it's like he's watching these saves. He's watching his team play well, and all of a sudden, here comes Pinto through the legs, goal. It's how many times have we seen that happen in Ottawa? But that's what bad teams do.
Yeah.
Bad teams consistently, those types of things happen to them, and those things become habits. It's not just the goalie. It's maybe a turnover at the blue line where you get scored in the last minute of the power player. Patrick Laine gets a hat trick against you guys, and he's scoring from the corner. Did you see the one-timer Laine scored on? It was from.
They're all the same. He's going to win the Rocket Richard Trophy, and he's played 6 games or 7 games. He's scoring from the exact same spot. Like at some point, do you not have to move out on him? Did you watch the goals?
The goalie's got to have those. Those can't go in. I don't care how good the shot is. You can't score from that angle. It's ridiculous.
Well, Alex Ovechkin does.
Yeah, it's just yeah, but it's on the power. Like, it's his are a little more of a better angle. Like, you look at Leon Draisaitl scores on a lot of those because Connor McDavid's bringing like 4 or 5 guys to him, and all of a sudden you lose Leon, he's gone. Yeah. There's no Connor McDavid on Montreal.
No, but Patrick Laine is did he hit?
He's a great shooter. He's a great shooter. He's never had 50.
But the point that I know some of the, I think, and thank you to Jake, 2 of the goals were 5-on-3. So I know that covering them is a little bit more difficult, but do you not have to do something? You just go, okay. I mean, the puck. I guess all right. Your goalie has to be your best penalty killer. I get it. Yeah.
Those goals, I don't care if it's a 5-on-3. You got to identify the line is on the ice. You know, he's there. To me, it's a 5-on-3, sure, but those shouldn't go in on 5-on-3s. Full credit to Line. I'm happy for him. Great story. He's nice to see guys come back from injuries and everything Laine's gone through. It's awesome. It's great for the league. But it's Buffalo Sabres. They're in a world of hurt right now, and Christmas couldn't come sooner for those guys.
Oh my God. Just a break. Yeah.
It's not fun.
There's one game on that has an impact, if you will, on the Ottawa Senators tonight. That's the Philadelphia Flyers and the Detroit Red Wings. Philly is knocking on the door. They keep hanging around, right? I'm curious as they sit. They're 2 points back of Ottawa in this race for the wild card, and no one would have probably predicted Philadelphia to be here. Yeah, Philly, Detroit tonight. Who do you take in this game? They're in Detroit. The 14-13-4 Philadelphia Flyers, or the 12-14-4 Detroit Red Wings.
Just looking at the road records right now. Philly's actually pretty good on the road. 7-5-3 compared to just Philly's under 500 at home, Wally. That's the thing when you're a John Tortorella coach team, you don't beat yourselves. Like, Torts demands his team. I talked about this at the beginning of the show today. You don't turn the puck over. The last and first minutes of periods, how important. Like, Torts is such a details-oriented guy. That's how you win on the road. Everyone's got to block shots. Well, hopefully for the Sens fans and for the Senators, Detroit wins this game. What's Detroit at home? Detroit's under 500. It's around Christmas time. Maybe you're hoping the Flyers players are thinking a little bit about the holiday, but Detroit's ain't going to let that happen. Tough to
cheering for a Detroit victory tonight. I'd like to see. I would love to see Ottawa start to put a couple of 3 points, right? Like, just so you know that if you lose, you're not losing that playoff spot that night, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's a mental thing.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's like when you get off to a mediocre, subpar start like the Sens did, you win a bunch of games. You're like, we're in the playoff spot now, but teams are still right there. It's going to be like this the whole way in, Wally. It's just, there's so many people don't understand how hard it is to make the playoffs now. You got more teams miss than make. Like that's just the way the league is now.
It's the same number.
Is it the same?
32 minus 16 is 16.
Yeah, so that's tough. Half
50%.
50%. So here's if I look at these teams right now, I'm not that after watching Pittsburgh, I'm not worried about Pittsburgh. Philadelphia is going to be pesky until the end. The Islanders are going to be pesky. They don't go away. But those are the two teams. Philadelphia. It's tough to sustain the type of hockey that Philadelphia is going to need to play the entire year, because I don't like high-end talent. I don't find they have a Tim Stützle. They don't, and that's the way Tim Stützle's playing right now.
I don't know. Travis Konechny's pretty good.
He's not Tim Stützle. I love Konechny as a player, but he doesn't. You watch Tim Stützle play, and I love Konechny. He's a hard-nosed.
I know. I was just trying to like he's on Team Canada. I was just trying to say,
he deserves to be. He's had a great year, but it's not a center ice.
I know he's not Tim Stützle. You're not trading Travis Konechny for Tim Stützle.
No. But Konechny's a hell of a player. Just different. They don't have that type of player in their lineup that can take over a game. And Timmy Stützle is going to be interesting to watch the rest of the year to see if he keeps building and building and building, because people forget how young he is too. Like, what's Timmy?
His birthday's in January, like January 15th, January 18th. He doesn't turn 23 until then.
It's crazy. You don't get, usually in the NHL, you don't really hit your stride till you're like 25, 26. Yeah. Like you have the freaks of the world like Connor McDavid's and Nathan McKinnon's, but
generational talent.
Yeah. So do you start talking about Stützle if he continues going on at this trajectory? Like, you watch him in the game, Wally, like there's a handful of guys that can do what he does with the puck, with the pressure, with the edge work, with the able to make something out of nothing and to make players around him better. Those are the marks of a great player. Can you do all those things? And he's been doing all those things more nights than not this year.
Okay, I'll save it till tomorrow. All right. We will be back tomorrow as we get final day of Hot for the Holidays presented by Gabriel Pizza. Yorkie, enjoy your day. I am off to do some Christmas shopping.
All righty. Enjoy, everybody. See you later.
See you, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.